Hey guys, it's Cassandra from Beads to Live By, live for our latest YouTube bracelet project. I wonder if Jan is still here. I looked at the timestamp on when you commented, Jan, and you were a little early. Eager beaters. How's everybody doing tonight? A hot mess over here. I left a bunch of my tools at the store. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Cassandra Spicer. I am part owner of Beads to Live By. We have a retail location for in-person shopping in downtown Jackson, Michigan that we opened in 2013. And then we have a very robust website that is growing that we've been doing more with basically since COVID. So I do a lot of my videos from home because I have a nice little studio area set up, and it's just easier for me to have my beading supplies here for when I'm like designing and creating, because when the inspiration strikes, it's usually not when I'm in the middle of doing like a transaction at the bead store. So the whole idea of like trying to be inspired is more of a task I have to set aside part of a day for usually. So because of that, a lot of my videos are done here at home, and periodically I do take work with me to the store, and this is just a life lesson that I need to leave my tools here at home and use the tools that I have at the store when I am working on things at the store, because I have tools there for classes and such. So tonight we are working with the other thing that's at the store, I'm pretty sure, is my sample. So I am going to work from memory / I jotted down some notes before I came on the live. But we are working with our some of our favorite drop beads of all time, the Pip. We've got a size 8 seed bead, a 3mm fire polish, and then a size 8 demi, which I did just add a selection of those to our website. That was the only thing that we didn't have listed yet from this tutorial. So I figured no time like the present to go ahead and get those things on there. And then fine soft flex is the size, the 0.014 diameter is what I'm working with tonight. We love our friends over at Softflex Company. And we've got some 2x2 crimp beads, a clasp. These clasps are available on our website as well. It's one of our favorites, the ball and socket. And I guess you probably can't see the crimp beads very well because I've got that little clear container. And then you will need a couple of jump rings. That's something I don't think we've got listed specifically on the website, but I'm just using a standard brass to match my other components I'm working with. So antique brass specifically. But yeah, so if you are doing some shopping, we had several friends jump on there and get some fire polish and pips in the last couple of days. So thank you for those orders. It means so much. And if you haven't been around a lot here with us on Facebook or on our email list yet, we had a big launch this week. We are doing our first sets of subscriptions for beads, which include a set of 8 colors of size 11 seed beads. And then the other option right now is 8 different vintage buttons that, when you look at the retail value, are about 30% off or more in each subscription every month. So those are some exciting things that are going on over on the website, and you can find those under the curated collections on the website, which I need to make a little bit more obvious. I just realized that I haven't made that one of our headers on the main page yet. So if you have any trouble finding that, do not hesitate to reach out via Messenger on the Beads to Live By Facebook page, or I do have a really easy email address that you can use at info@beadstoliveby.com. So you can always reach me there. Tongue twister, but I'll leave the supply list up for you guys and flash the website and stuff a little bit more later, just so you know what we're working with and you don't have any major questions. But it is after 8 o'clock, so I'm going to start showing you guys what I did to make this fun little pip bracelet. And for those of you that are watching after the fact and didn't catch it, I did leave my sample elsewhere. So you'll see it as it comes together here tonight, but the cover photo for this video is what we're working on. So a nice big ice water tonight because it is getting warm in Michigan. My husband was just saying that's going to end up being 105-degree heat index tomorrow on Wednesday, and that makes me feel a little ill just thinking about it. I don't love the heat. I don't like the humid heat. I love I like saunas, like a dry. I like a dry heat, and then I also like ocean heat, like the Caribbean. I'm fancy like that. So if you're out there watching, say hi, please. I'm working with about 2 feet of the wire, and I do have it folded over so that at the center is where I'm starting, and I've got my crimp bead there. And for those of you that are like me that were behind on the times, these bead stoppers from Softflex Company are so helpful. They've got a really strong spring. So I've seen different versions of these, and some of them are like this dainty little spring, and then there's no like little grippies on the edges. And I don't know about you, but all the fine motor skills that I use, I can all the help I can get, I will take as far as like having that little extra grip there and stuff. So that is definitely something that I appreciate working with, but I won't be using those just yet. So gotta get my little cheat sheet out here. So as I said, I've got 2 feet of this fine Softflex, and I've folded it over, and the ends are meeting. When I say fold, you don't want to like create a harsh center, but your crimp bead is gonna sit at the center there. And then I like to work with both sides of my cord, but that bead stopper would come in handy if you are not someone who is ambidextrous and can use both hands to pick up beads. So I've got one of my size 8 dummies on each piece of my cord. I'm going to pull those down, and then you are going to do, I've been doing all the same color in a cluster, but you can mix and match if you want, but you want 1 pip on one cord, so I put that on the right hand side, and then 2 pips on the other side. I feel like I can hear myself on my earbuds of my iPad, so I might have to use multiple devices when I do these videos, so I'm gonna try turning this down and see if that helps. There we go. So far, just so you guys can visualize what is happening on your cord, that is what it looks like. And I'll turn it so that it's actually facing the way that we strung it. So you've got that crimp bead in the middle, you've got a demi on either side of that, and then you've got 2 pips on the left and 1 pip on the right. Wait for it, magic's about to happen. Okay. So after you get your pips on, you are going to put a demi on only one side of the cord, and I am choosing to use the right hand side to start. And then you are going to take that left cord and cross it through. So I promise I'll zoom in there. So that's what it's going to look like a little antenna coming out of your demi bead. And that is, you want to keep this first part, you are going to have to manually center your beads on the cord. So you have to keep them centered. And then that's what the project will look like when you get started. Now, that crimp bead is going to get smashed, and that's the space where your jump ring is going to hold your clasp on. And I might be able to accomplish that and demo for you guys when we're getting done here, but I left pliers at the store. I have my magical crimper, which is not what I was intending to use for this project. So that is the very first flower. Now the rest of the repeat, except for the end, is going to be a little different. So you're going to start, again, we've got both pieces of cord, we've got all those beads pulled to the center, and now they're going to kind of stay in place a little bit better. And we're going to put on a size 8 seed bead on both sides, a 3 millimeter on both sides, a size 8 on both sides. And then we're going to do the singular demi again, where I pick it up with one piece of cord and then cross through with the other side. Ta-da! And when you pull all of that down, you want to like keep it snug, but not like crazy tight. So that is what, now those, fun story about those fire polish beads, those are a gold line crystal. We do have them listed on the website. That's the 3 millimeter. And I was pulling an order for somebody today. And when I pulled those beads out of their bin, I was like, oh, some of those are going to go home with me because they are going to look so great in a project like the one for tonight. So looks really great with these greens. I wanted to use something that wasn't traditionally floral, so you guys could see an example of that with this project. Now we're back to our pips, and the pips are going to behave differently in your second flower than they do in the first flower. So right now we've got on the right-hand side 1 pip, and the left-hand side has 2 pips. You can flip those around. It doesn't matter how you hold it, but you want to make sure that when you are stringing them this time that you reverse it. So you just went through your crisscross on your demi, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to add 2 pips. And then the left-hand side, I'm going to add 1 pip. And, you know, just watch yourself that you don't flip your work around, because that is easy to do, and if you do that, it's fine, but you want to make sure that you're flip-flopping the quantity of pips you're adding on each side, not just be holden to the fact that I say right or left. Does that make sense? Like your right and left needs to match my right and left if you're going to follow that part. So now I've got 1 demi on my right-hand cord, and then I crossed over with the left. And these first few rows of flowers, you're going to need to just kind of keep everything gathered up. But I'm really loving this neutral color palette. It almost is coming across as camouflage because of those various shades of green. And I've got just touches of like black and taupe, like khaki colors. I think those size 8 seed beads might literally be called khaki iris. So their color, it does not do them justice in the video, but in the tube you can see, yeah, the rainbowy color is not coming across quite the same on the screen there, but in the pile, it almost, like when I have something else in the foreground, you can see more of the color in the background, I feel like. But so this is what your work is going to look like, and everything from here is a straight repeat. So we are going to come out of that demi on the back side of the flower, the pip, and we're going to add with each of our pieces of cord 1 8 on each side, 1 3 millimeter on each side. If I can pick it up, because all of a sudden that doesn't want to go on my cord. I think I'm trying to leave my end of my cord too long. And I've got a random crystal laying in the tray here. You can ignore that. If you see that green bead, like I just noticed, those were in with the pips from another project. And then I've got a size 8 again on each side. So you add the 3 millimeters and the 8s on both sides, and then 1 demi for that crisscross. And this purpose, or the purpose of this is those sets of 3 millimeters and size 8s need to be there to space those pips out, because otherwise your flowers would run into each other. I also did try to make them bigger, but I didn't like the openness of the center. Like, I think that those pips look really good clustered together like this, instead of the way I was doing this the first couple of times I tried it. I was using like 5 or 6 petals or pips, and then I was leaving the center open, and just like there was a big circle. I did not like it. So now we go back to 1 pip on the right hand side, 2 pips on the left hand side. And I mean, I've got half a dozen colors or more of pips in this little personal mix. If you are feeling shy about color choices and you want to mimic one of the ones I've done in my samples, or if you would like a custom suggestion, I can actually create a, I just found this out, I can create an invoice, like a draft order on the website, and then send the link for like payment, or like somehow you can let me shop for you. Does that make sense? So if you would like a personal shopper, it's like one of my favorite things to do. I'd be more than happy to put together some awesome colors for you. And then here's another dummy after you got your pips on there. And you will get like a zigzag effect, just a tiny bit. But when it's all in a row in your bracelet, it will come together really nicely. So how's everybody doing tonight? I see some eyeballs popping up. So I'm going to do one more set of everything, and then I'm going to show you guys how to end it, just so that you got that knowledge. But I won't finish off the work end because I'm not actually at a full bracelet length yet. I don't know if you know this, but my wrist is not like 1 inch around. So I did my 8, 3 millimeter, and 8 on each side of my project. And then I'm doing my crisscross with my demi. That gives us that nice little like interest piece. I love a fire polish in anything, just a little bit of sparkle without being overpowering. And it also spaces those pips out nicely so that they don't get all like clunky on each other. Now, the last section you do, your last pips you add, will be the same way as the first set. And what I mean by that is we reverse the order. So we start by adding whatever quantity of pips we need on each side, like 2 or 1, and then the opposite on the other strand. And then we want to, once you get those down to the rest of your work, and you know they flop around, that's fine, then you want to add a size 8 demi on each strand. This is the only time you do this, is at the beginning and the end. And this is just to give your crimp beads some breathing room, and so that you can run your cord back through a bead. Because those pips, I think you can get your cord through them again, but it can be a challenge. So I've got a crimp on 1 piece of cord, and I'm going to do the crisscross the way that I did on all those demis in between the rest of the project. And then when you pull that through, when you pull on either side of your cord, this is what you end up with, which is just like the way we did the beginning. And that leaves just enough room for you to get a like a medium-sized jump ring through, or a smaller one, you know, the kind that you would want to use to attach a clasp to your project. And then I like to just give myself a little breathing room. So once you've gone through that crimp with your cord going either direction. I like to take it through one more bead, which is going to be, there we go, my demi. And it's D-E-M-I in case you are searching, or if you're using any kind of captions. I apologize. I am a very nasally person, and it regularly autocorrects to dummy, which is not what I am saying at all. I don't call people dummies, and I don't call my beads dummies. So either side, we're just going through and getting our cord spaced out a little bit more away from that crimp bead. And then I don't think I would recommend using a magical crimper. That's just what I have here to demo with. But you are going to come in with your regular crimping tool. And you also could just use a pair of flat nose pliers, which might be a little bit better in this case. And I will see if I have brown nose pliers here right now, but I'm gonna use my tweezers just to demo this. You're gonna come in to your project like that and grab that crimp bead and smash it. So if you can't get a pair of, and this is the start end, that end you can do before you get past like that first section with the fire polish. So there'll be a little bit more wiggle room if you do it that way. Pro tip. But just demoing with something that I have on hand that is similar to the nose of a plier, you would just get in there with your pliers and give that crimp bead a little smash. I did not anticipate that my magical crimper end was so chunky. So once you complete your whole bracelet and crimp those beads, and again, that first crimp bead is not actually technically something that needs to be there, but I just like symmetry in projects. So because you would need the crimp bead down here to finish those cords up, I think it looks a little bit more finished if you start with one on the start end. And then you can just take a couple of your jump rings, and once you get those crimp beads smashed down, you will take a jump ring and attach it through that hole that's created in the center of the flower. So the jump ring will set, I don't know if I have anything I can really poke it with, but the jump ring will set the other direction. And so because the ring will sit this way, then it will hold your clasp the right direction. So that is the finished goods. I will post pictures of my second sample here on our social media on Facebook and Instagram, and I can't wait to see all of you guys' awesome colors that you put together. If you are working on projects that you are using beads from us that you purchased with Beads to Live By, excuse me, or if you are creating a project that we showed you how to do in a class or on one of these videos, you can join our Facebook group, Beads in Progress. And that is some place that we just like to share what we're working on from the store, whether it's one of our designs or something we're doing with our beads. And we love to see what you're doing with our beads and our projects. So please don't hesitate to pop over there. And then I'll flash the website one more time for anybody who is looking for supplies for tonight's project or your next bead endeavor. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate your support, and it means so much that you guys are out there shopping with us and sharing your bead enthusiasm and your projects that you're making. And when we inspire you, that makes us feel so good. So thank you for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a great night. This was a really quick and easy design to share. So it was like we're under a half an hour here, under 25 minutes even, But that's really all there is to it. And since I can't finish my bracelet off, I don't have my pliers to actually crimp things for you. I guess you will get to just get out of here a little early tonight and go finish your bracelet. So one last thing I'd like to note, when you're sizing this, don't bring the flowers all the way around your wrist so that they touch, because when you add your clasp and your jump rings, that is going to add length. So just be mindful of that. Whatever kind of clasp and whatever size jump rings you're using will add some length. So keep that in mind while you're finishing the last couple of flowers on your bracelet. But other than that, you are out of the nest, free to go do your designs, and I will see you guys next week on the Softflex page for some exciting fun. So have a great night, guys. Thank you again for joining me. I will see you all soon, and oh, I'm so glad you feel that way, Jan. So do we. Bye, guys.